Hey there, citizens. Welcome back to another Star Citizen update where today we're diving deep into what might be the most honest inside Star Citizen episode we've seen in years. Let's face it, freight elevators have become the unexpected final boss of Alpha 4.2.1, and CIG finally addressed the elephant, or rather the elevator in the room. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's unpack this mess together, along with all the actually exciting stuff coming in Alpha 4.3. You remember when freight elevators first appeared in our personal hangars? They worked, okay, not perfect, but functional enough. That's because they operated in single-player environments, where the system would basically reset every time you left. One pilot, one elevator, minimal problems. But then these same elevators got deployed to outposts throughout the verse, and that's when everything went sideways. If you've hauled cargo in the last year, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You spend an hour mining or trading, fly to an outpost with a hold full of valuable materials, and then nothing. The elevator doesn't respond. Or it goes down but never comes back up. Or, and this is the real gut punch, it just eats your cargo. Gone. Vanished into the digital void without a trace. There's a reason one of the top comments on Jared's video simply said, "Let's talk about the elevator in the room," with over 1,000 likes. The replies perfectly capture the shared pain. "Is the elevator here in chat?" someone asked. "Nope, I tried many times to summon it, and it's still not here." Another player quipped, "This joke is great because it works on so many levels." Well, when they work at all. Remember that Hurston mining outpost run last week? 3 trips in a row, everything worked fine. 4th trip, complete disaster. Elevator took the cargo down. Terminal said, "Transfer complete," but no money appeared in the account. The cargo was just gone. Server hopping didn't help. Logging out didn't help. Nothing helped. That's 4 hours of gameplay down the drain, because an elevator decided today wasn't your day. The Race for Stanton event was supposed to be this cool competitive thing, where players would haul cargo to help their chosen landing zone win discounts and rewards. Instead, it became an unintentional stress test of just how badly the freight elevator system could fail. As Jared finally admitted, with a higher concurrency and daily active users than any patch this year, large numbers of players were driven from their private freight elevators in their personal hangars to the more troublesome ones out in the PU. What that meant in practice was thousands of players hammering the same limited number of outposts simultaneously. An outpost that might function reasonably well under normal player loads completely melted down under this concentrated pressure. The worst part? Many veteran haulers saw this coming a mile away. One player commented, "The minute you all announced this event, I knew it was going to be a complete mess. There are only so many active mission outposts and you wanted to have hundreds of players hitting them up constantly." Another pointed out, outpost elevators have been broken since they were released almost a year ago now. And they're not wrong. These issues weren't new, they were just exposed at an unprecedented scale. There's been this rumor circulating that CIG knew exactly what they were doing, that they intentionally directed players to use broken systems as a massive data gathering stress test. Sort of a, let's force these elevators to break catastrophically so we can finally fix them approach. Jared directly addressed this. No. Now, while the project will definitely benefit from what happened long-term with all the fixes and hardening that's been going in, and that will continue to go in throughout Alpha 4.3 and beyond, the answer to what really happened isn't particularly exciting or salacious. The reality was much simpler. They knew there would be issues, but they severely underestimated how those issues would compound under heavy load. As one player commented with nearly 700 likes, "Thanks for clarifying that this was not an intentional stress test." But here's the truly mind-blowing part. CIG has now identified 44 individual freight elevator issues, with 20 of them classified as blockers or critical. And most of these only became apparent when thousands of players were repeatedly running into them throughout this event. That matches what so many of us experienced in-game. You'd go to a mining outpost early in a fresh server, everything would work fine. Come back 4 hours later when the server had been running a while, complete chaos. Some outposts would have all 3 elevators broken simultaneously, with players forming impromptu queues outside, desperately server hopping to find one that worked. What makes freight elevators so uniquely problematic? It comes down to their complex interaction with multiple game systems. When you use a freight elevator, it's not just moving a physical object up and down, it's interacting with cargo grids, inventory systems, persistence databases, physics, player status tracking, and server synchronization, all simultaneously, and each of these systems can fail in different ways. One of the more experienced commenters explained, "I am a software engineer and I do get that fixing one thing can lead to finding more issues, but I'm also a hauler in-game and we've had these issues with the freight elevators for ages." There's this phenomenon in software development where fixing one bug reveals 3 more lurking underneath. Jared touched on this when he said, "As we work to fix each issue we encountered, the resolution would often reveal another lying in wait underneath." What made this particularly painful during Race for Stanton was that the workarounds haulers had developed over time, like flying away from the outpost to force a reset or server hopping, became less and less effective as every server faced the same overwhelming load. Despite all the elevator drama, there's actually quite a lot to look forward to in Alpha 4.3, and CIG is actually extending Race for Stanton through the next patch while they continue to fix elevator issues. Here's what's coming. First, dynamic snow. Building on the dynamic rain system from 4.2, we're getting proper snow effects that won't awkwardly rain on snowy areas. It's a small improvement, but these environmental details really add to immersion when exploring planetary surfaces. Second, specialist light stealth armor. Several new armor variants are coming, including an ASD version and one from Wicklow, with an interesting visor design that prompted Jared to drop a Star Wars reference. With the blast shield down, how can I even see? How am I supposed to fight? Immediately followed by, I probably shouldn't quote Star Wars because Disney has lawyers. The community loved this moment with one comment noting, how many Star Wars references do you want to add? Jared, yes. Third, Zenith sniper rifle. A new vault weapon that Jared described as combining the raw punch of a charged sniper shot with a rapid fire precision of a marksman rifle. Adding, which doesn't sound OP as heck at all. Heat management will be crucial. If you don't maintain it properly, the weapon becomes essentially inoperable like me. That self-deprecating humor is why we love these updates. Fourth, hangar respawning returns. You'll be able to spawn directly into your personal hangar again. This is huge for quality of life. No more tedious walks from apartments every single time you log in. As Jared noted, personal hangars are slowly becoming our first true homes in the verse. 5. Ship inventories updated. Many recent ships will finally be available for a UEC purchase. Jared was refreshingly blunt. It's our way of saying, yeah, we'll be better at this going forward. This addresses a long-standing community frustration where newer ships were only available through pledges or Wicklow's RNG system. 6th, light fighter flight tuning. The Vehicle Experience team continues their comprehensive flight balancing pass, this time focusing on light fighters. This includes adjusting speeds, accelerations, health pools, and even swapping out flight controller components. If you haven't flown your light fighter recently, 4.3 might be the perfect time to take it for a spin. 7th, L21 Wolf release. The newest light fighter from Kruger Intergalactic will finally be flyable. Jared described it as sleek, slick, and kind of like a cool spaceship Rorschach test, where different people see different influences in its design. 8. More Onyx Facilities content. The mysterious storyline continues to unfold with Jared hinting that we'll discover what ASD has really been up to. It's more than just worm torture. I can promise you that. This multi-part release approach is new for CIG, and they're deliberately keeping quiet to let players discover the mysteries organically. The community's response to this unusually candid inside Star Citizen has been fascinating. Many players appreciated the honesty, with one comment stating, admitting failures and acknowledging the players goes a long way to helping sentiment. Well done. Another added, that was the best spent 6 minutes of video time this year. Some candid honesty and acknowledgement goes a long way. But there were also skeptical voices. They've been doing this every year since 2018. It's not new, nor should you expect better patches content going forward. Notice how there was no mention of a fix for any of the issues, just we are working on them. Another player cut to the core issue. Admitting failure is one thing, but changing practices around them is another. They always give half apologies after backlash from the community, but still keep on doing it. Some of the most insightful feedback came from veteran players who've witnessed the long evolution of Star Citizen. I'm an old enough player to remember the days when swapping weapons would cause you to just drop whatever you were holding in the first place. When EVAing into gravity meant falling flat onto your face. When crashing a reclaimer into literally anything would crash the whole server. This perspective is valuable. Star Citizen has made remarkable progress over the years, even if that progress sometimes feels frustratingly slow and uneven. As one comment put it, I remember where this game come from and I see where it's going. So where do we go from here? CIG has made it clear they're committed to fixing these elevator issues, but the scale of the problem, 44 distinct bugs with 20 critical ones, suggests this won't be a quick fix. In the meantime, what can you do if you need to haul cargo? First, consider the time of day. Servers are generally fresher and more stable during off-peak hours. Second, smaller outposts sometimes fare better than the popular ones. Third, smaller cargo loads seem to cause fewer issues than completely filled holds. And finally, patience. Sometimes walking away from a problematic elevator for a few minutes and coming back can mysteriously fix things. As one player cleverly summed up, so elevators are built by Drake. Having been killing me for a decade now, they definitely punch above their weight. That's Star Citizen in a nutshell, simultaneously brilliant and baffling. The extension of Race for Stanton through Alpha 4.3 is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it gives players more time to earn rewards. On the other hand, It means more time dealing with these frustrating elevator issues. As Jared put it, it'll mean another month for folks to try to dethrone Hurston from the lead they hit so very early, and for us to continue beating on freight elevators about the head and neck with the proverbial pipe along the way. This freight elevator crisis represents something fundamental about Star Citizen's development, the tension between ambition and execution. CIG consistently pushes boundaries with their vision, but the practical implementation sometimes falls short of what players hope for. As we look ahead to Alpha 4.3 and beyond, there's reason for both concern and optimism. The honest communication in this Inside Star Citizen was refreshing. As one player put it, this is what transparency means. Let us know. Just talk to us, guys. Let us know this isn't working how we hoped, and that is being worked on. We're just not done with it yet. That sentiment captures what most of us feel. We're not expecting perfection from an alpha. We're not even expecting things to work flawlessly most of the time. But we do want honest communication about known issues, realistic timelines for fixes, and a sense that our feedback is being heard. And sometimes that means admitting when things go wrong, like with Race for Stanton's elevator apocalypse. It wasn't intentional, it wasn't malicious, but it did expose deeper problems that need fixing. In the end, as Jared concluded his elevator segment, I'll just say we know what's left to do, and we're on it. Let's hope they are, because the universe beyond those freight elevator doors is well worth exploring, if we can just get through them in one piece. And remember, in Star Citizen, sometimes the most dangerous journey isn't across space. It's those final few meters on a freight elevator. Stay safe out there, citizens.